Hello, yogis. Mike again, and welcome to another session of Yoga with Mike, so to speak. And yeah, we're here today inside because it's raining outside, and I'm going to do a little session today well, it's for everybody, but it's primarily associated with help around sciatic pain. So sciatic pain, if you've never had it, good for you. But a lot of people have had it. I've had it before, and it's associated with a pain that runs, kind of starts maybe in the lower back or the lower hip, and runs usually down one side of your body and kind of down your leg, sometimes past your knee and even down into your lower leg. And it's a pretty sharp pain, consistent pain. And sometimes it can last for a long, long time. When I had it for about 3 months, and I finally worked it out. And so there's a sciatic nerve that runs, and I'm not an anatomist, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physical therapist, so just take all this with a grain of salt, but I have studied it a little bit around what might cause and what might help a sciatic pain. So think of this today as not necessarily a cure for sciatic pain, or I'm not telling you this is going to help you specifically, but this is something that has helped me, and so we just go from there. So across your glute, across your butt, is a muscle. There's a whole series of muscles. But one muscle runs sideways across. It's called the piriformus muscle. Runs sideways across your butt. The sciatic nerve runs vertical. So your nerve runs vertically. The muscle comes across it, and where the two meet, if the muscle's really tight, it can sometimes pinch that nerve. And potentially, if the muscle's really tight and comes in contact with that nerve, potentially it can cause a source of pain that then can be manifested throughout the rest of your leg. So today we're going to work on the piriformis muscle, and we're going to work on both strengthening the muscles in the glutes, but also stretching them. So to strengthen them, generally that means that the muscles become tight and they become short. So like you see guys with great big biceps, you know, their arms they can't even straighten their arms out because their muscles are so big that they're so tight that they walk around with their arms like this all the time because they can't lengthen their elbows. So you want to stretch them. And so today we're going to do a little practice around lengthening the piriformis muscle and some other muscles in the hip area, the back of the hip area, and potentially over a period of time. It's not, this kind of stuff is not just boom and one time and you're done, but over a period of time, potentially it may help alleviate and or prevent sciatic pain. So here we go. Anyway, that's a good little start. So today we need our yoga mat or just a rug. You don't really need a mat, but I am using a chair today. This is one of the yoga chairs from the studio that we used to have, and so any chair would work, but I recommend a chair, and you can have a bolster. I'm just going to grab my bolster real quick. You can have a bolster, or if you don't have a bolster, you can use a pillow or something like that as well. And if you don't have a pillow or a bolster, you don't absolutely need it either. So anyway, we're going to start by sitting on our chair. And I'm sitting just on the front edge of the chair so that just my sits bones are on the chair. My back's nice and straight. Knees hip width apart. Feet right below my knees. Toes pointed forward. If that's not comfortable for your for your feet, your toes, to be pointed directly forward. If your knees come out of your hips, they're coming forward. If it's not comfortable for your feet to be pointed forward, and you can't really see my feet, but here, I'll back up a little bit. Maybe you can see them. There. If it's not comfortable to be like this, and your feet want to be out to the side, go ahead and let them be out to the side. That's okay. That just means your bone orientation, the way that your skeletal situation is put together, is more comfortable with your feet, with your toes kind of out to the side. So that's fine too. So we're going to sit here, edge of the chair, hands on our knees, and we're just going to start with a little shoulder shrug, shoulders up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, down. Forward, up, back, down. One more. Forward, up, back, and down. Now just stop right there. Take a nice deep inhale and a super slow exhale. Let it happen. Nice and slow. One more of those. Deep inhale. This purposed breathing that we're doing like that helps set the parasympathetic nervous system in action, which is the nervous system that calms the body. So we want to have our nerves, especially the sciatic nerve, nice and relaxed, have all our nerves not tension like a guitar string. We want to have them nice and loose and supple, and our breath helps us do that. So throughout the whole practice today, practice on your breath and just take nice and slow, especially that slow exhale. That's what really helps to trigger the vagus nerve, which is a nerve runs from your brain down through in front of your heart, down into your chest, and that helps to align the nervous system. Okay, now we're going to do a little cat-cow. So on an inhale, stick your chest forward, your belly forward, look up toward the ceiling a little bit, arch your back. On an exhale, round your back, your head comes down, look between your legs, just round your back, little cat-cow. Inhale, your belly comes forward, chest comes forward, collarbones open up. Just think about your collarbones spreading out, opening up toward the ceiling. On the exhale, you come down. Now your collarbones kind of close in, your shoulders round, collarbones close in. Keep your shoulder blades, as you do this, down the back. So think about the opposite movement of shrugging your shoulders up toward your ears. Think about let gravity just pull your shoulder blades right down your back. Warming up our spine. This is also warming up the muscles in our lower back and right down into our gluteal area, down to the piriformus muscle. So one more, come back in to neutral. Okay, now we're in neutral. Another big inhale. Big slow exhale. You can close your eyes on this breath too. Just inhale. When you close your eyes, we're activating in yoga what's called forgot it. It's quieting the senses. I'll remember it here in a minute. Another senior moment. Here we go. Quieting the senses. Okay, now I'm going to place one hand on the side of my chair, the other hand out to the side, and we're going to come up and over for a lateral bend. I'm just using my hand on the side of the chair to help me brace on that side of the chair. So big lateral bend. Just think about this side, just a big arch on this side of the body. Come over as far as you can, and then think about your breath, your inhale, coming into these side ribs. You can rotate your shoulder forward a little bit, look down toward the floor, helps to open up your upper back. Or you can rotate your shoulder back, open up your chest, look up toward the ceiling a little bit, whatever feels comfortable. And then place your hand on the outside of your head, help yourself back up in the center, and release that hand. Good. Now, place your hand on the other side of the chair. The other arm comes up, and we're going to go over for a lateral bend. Yeah. And again, you can rotate forward a little bit. Helps to open up the upper back a little bit more. Breathe into those left ribs now. If you're leaning to the right, breathe into the left ribs. If you're leaning left, breathe into the right ribs. Open that up a little bit. And then come back up and over to the center. Good. Now, clasp your hands in front of you. Clasp your fingers in front of you. Invert your hands. Push your palms out away from you. Now, this is one where we want to focus on dropping our shoulder blades down our back. It's real easy in this one, for me anyway, it's real easy for my shoulders to shrug up and think, oh yeah. But now, relax. Just let those gravity pull the shoulder blades down. Go ahead and shrug them up by the ears. See what that feels like. Feels all compact and not very good. Now just let them drop. On an exhale, let them drop. Big exhale. Slowly lower them. Lower them. More exhale. Next exhale. See if your shoulder blades can go a little bit lower. Nice. Now, reach your arms up. Keep your shoulder blades down your back. Reach your arms up toward the ceiling. Again, shoulder blades down the back. Palms toward the ceiling. And we're just going to rotate around to the right. Left hand comes on the outside of the right knee. And your arms comes to the back of the chair. Just a little easy supported twist. You can look over your back shoulder. And then rotate back around forward, nice and gentle. Cool. Shrug the shoulders. Just a little movement there. Interlace your fingers, one finger over this time. Invert, push out front, drop those shoulder blades. Hands then come right toward the ceiling. Drop the shoulder blades, exhale. And this time we're going to twist to the left. So my right hand comes to the outside of my left knee. My left hand comes to the back of the chair. When I turn my head to where I'm gazing over the back shoulder. Nice. Keep your back nice and straight so that you've got a little curve in your lower back. Again, I'm just sitting right on the edge of my chair. Little curve in my lower back to where the spine is nice and straight, but it's just twisted. And then come back around, forward, and release that. Good. Now, just a little bit of organic movement. Maybe you want to fold forward, do the wave. Here, I'll show you the wave. So the way the wave works is you kind of drop down a little bit. Shoulders come forward. When they come forward, then they come back up. Give that a try. It's kind of forward fold. When you get almost forward, then your shoulders start coming up. Shoulders come up and back. Down, forward, up, and back. Down, forward, up, and back. That's your shoulder movement. Shoulder blade still down the back. Down, forward, up, and back. One more time. Down, forward, up, and back. Good. Okay. Now, Okay, now let's get into a little bit of yoga-specific movements for the piriformis, and we're going to stretch the piriformis. So what I like to do is sit right on the edge of your chair. I'm just going to turn this chair just like a 45 so you can see me a little bit better maybe. Yeah, there we go. So sit right on the edge of your chair. And if that's not comfortable sitting on the edge of the chair, you can sit back. Just don't lean back into the back of the chair, because we want our spine, we want the weight to be carried from our head, the weight of our head, the shoulders, right down through the spinal column into our sits bones. So nice straight back. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my right foot over a little more toward the center of my body, still ankle directly underneath my knee, bringing my left leg up and across. So my left ankle is on top of my right knee, and depends on the flexibility of your hips, your left knee may be up high toward your chest or maybe down low, whatever. Adjust your position. Dorsiflex this upper foot back towards your knee. In other words, bring these toes back towards your knee. That helps protect this knee and keeps this whole region in the front of your shin active. Now just breathe here. So what we're doing right now is we're stretching the piriformis muscle on our left side with our left leg on top. You're beginning to stretch the piriformis muscle. It's only a short muscle band, but we're starting to stretch it. It's kind of wide, little band. And breathe. Nice slow exhale again. Big inhale, slow exhale. Now, if you like, use your muscles in your leg. Don't push with your hand. Use your muscles in your leg to pull this upper knee down toward the floor. And you can do that, again, by using your glute muscles and just pull that down toward the floor. You can assist it a little bit. I don't want this movement to be initiated by your hand, but you can assist it a little bit with your hand and maybe just put nice gentle pressure. But remember, sustainable yoga only go to about 80% of your maximum limit, your maximum movement capacity, so that we don't strain or hurt anything, because yoga is not intended. You should not come away with yoga with any injuries. Should fix your injuries, right? Or at least help. Now, I learned that it usually takes around 18 seconds or 5 breaths for muscles to kind of relax and to understand that, hey, I'm in this position, I'm going to be here for a little while, so let's just chill out and go with the flow. So it takes about 5 breaths. So we're just going to hang in here, have about 5 breaths. Maybe you can encourage that knee down toward the floor a little bit more. Usually on an exhale, nice slow exhale allows a little bit deeper movement. And then when you had your 5 breaths, now lean your torso forward as much as feels comfortable. And maybe that's not very much, because now we're putting more strain on our piriformis. I can start to feel that stretch in the piriformis muscle, and start to feel that stretch. My back is still straight. I'm just hinging at the hips, coming forward. So don't round your back with this. Just keep your back nice and straight, because as you lean forward, you're stretching vertically your glute muscles as well. So we're stretching that piriformis muscle now laterally and vertically. And there's a whole group of muscles in your butt, in your gluteal area. So we're actually affecting all of these muscles. We're not just focusing just on a single muscle. But I do talk about the piriformis muscle as being the one that we would like to get a little bit of length in, a little bit of stretching. Now come back up, release that leg. Good. Now, just sit here, take a deep inhale, close your eyes, deep exhale, and feel the difference between your left gluteal area and your right gluteal area. Gluteal. Pratyahara, that's the name, that's the yogic name of one of the limbs of yoga whereby we quiet the senses. It's called pratyahara. And breathing is called pranayama. So there you have it. So now I'm going to bring my left foot more toward the center of my body. Or you can leave it to the left, whatever feels more comfortable to you. To me, it feels more comfortable to bring it more toward the center of my body. Take my right ankle up and across my left knee. Dorsiflex your right foot back toward your right knee. And this side may be quite different from the other side. So right now I'm feeling in my hamstring area, I'm feeling quite a stretch of my hamstrings in my right leg where I did not feel that in my left leg. So just pay attention to your body. If you get used to paying attention to your body, get used to paying attention to the little things, then you'll start to notice that you're actually paying attention to other parts of your body all the time during the day. Whenever you're around, you'll start to feel your heartbeat more. You'll start to feel other sensations more, and you'll start to be more aware of your body. So just breathe into this. Again, with your muscles of your glute, you can pull this knee down toward the floor a little bit, and then you can place your hand on your knee and maybe encourage it just a little bit. Give it just a little bit of encouragement. Say, yeah, it's okay, muscles, to go down here. We're going to have 5 breaths. Let the muscles realize that they're not going to have to tense back up again for another movement right now. They can just relax in this position because we're not going to move out of it for a minute. Now, with the back nice and straight, you can just lean forward. Maybe you're only getting a couple millimeters of lean forward before you can really feel some stretch in your gluteal area. And on an exhale, your next exhale, maybe you can lean a little bit more forward, another ½ inch or so. Next, maybe just a little bit more. And one more time. Next exhale, hold that. Dorsiflex that foot back toward your knee. Relax. And then we're going to just lean back, let that leg go, and then just move nice and easy, just some organic movement, whatever feels comfortable. Get the hips, get the back, whatever feels good. Good. Okay, now, how are we feeling now? So now you're going to turn sideways on your chair, one arm on the back of the chair, and the leg that's kind of, I'm sitting right on the edge of the chair. I got my right sit bone, I'm facing the right side of the chair, my right sit bone's on the chair. My left leg is then going to come back. And depending on your size of your anatomy, the length of your leg in particular, and the height of the chair, you may want a blanket or a pillow or a bolster underneath this lower knee. And the idea here is we're going to stretch our psoas muscle, which is in the front of the thigh. Psoas muscle is a big muscle. I did a series on the psoas muscle. It's on YouTube as well, so you can tune into that. It's probably one of the most important muscles in our whole body. Runs from the back of our ribs down through our hip and attaches to our femur. And so we just want to stretch that out a bit. So as we do this, it's kind of like we're doing the warrior one on our knee, but also on a chair. So it's kind of a warrior one assist. Maybe your arms come up. Maybe you want to stay on the back of the chair. Arms come up, warrior one. Engage your abdominal muscles if you're going to do a bit of a back bend. Engage your abs. Look up toward the ceiling. And then come forward. Now, when you come forward, we're going to tip forward. You can grab the back of the chair. You can grab wherever you like. We're just going to tip forward a little bit so we can stretch the piriformus muscle now on our right side a little bit. Stretch those muscles out. Keep your back nice and straight. We're just tipping our torso at our hips, hinging at the hips. Just think of a hinge at the hips. And just go as far as feels comfortable. Maybe you can go all the way to where your chest is right on your knee. I think it's not happening for me today, but that's cool. And then come back up. And then bring that lower leg back around. And we're just going to turn around. So now I'm facing the left side of the chair, right leg down, knee is actually touching the ground. The left ankle is underneath my left knee, directly forward. You can bring the knee is on the ground. You can bring back farther if it feels comfortable, get a little more psoas stretch. You can just hang on to the back of the chair, or if you like, engage your abdominal muscles, come up for a warrior one. Nice big stretch, warrior one up. And then we're going to come forward, and here's where you want to keep a nice straight back, and we're just going to hinge at the hips, and we're going to tip forward. Nice, easy tip forward. To me, I come where my lower ribs are just touching my thigh, and that feels like about as far as I can go. It's about a 45-degree angle maybe. That's about as far as I can go without rounding my back. And then come back up again and come forward. Cool. Now we're just going to sit on the front edge of our chair, feet directly beneath the knees, just like we started. And we're just going to take our shoulders around in a little circle. Do it one way a few times, then go the other way. Good. It's always nice just to do a little organic movement between these direction-specific stretches, like that warrior one, we were stretching forward and backwards in the sagittal plane. Now we're traveling in all three planes. So, hold there. Now we're going to widen our legs out. Take a nice, generous, wide stand with your legs. Your feet are out at some kind of angle. Maybe your feet are following your knees out. And I'm still sitting on the edge of my chair. You can sit back a little bit if you like. And this time we're going to do a forward fold. We're just going to come forward. Nice straight back again. Come forward. Now we're going to stretch the piriformis on both sides a little bit. When you get as far as it feels like that you can go without rounding your back, take a breath there. Nice inhale and exhale. Think about your lower back. Can you straighten your spine anymore? Get a little curve in that lower back. In other words, do an anterior rotation, a frontal rotation of your hips, of the top of your hip. Bring your hip pointers forward. That often allows the spine to have a little more forward movement in your lumbar area, your lower spine. And then just relax. Go ahead and round your upper back, round your body. Maybe your hands come either down to your shins, your ankles, maybe they come to the floor. And just let your head hang. Okay, now we're stretching all the muscles from our gluteal area up through our back. We're just letting gravity take over. We're going to let 5 breaths here. And then slowly walk your hands up, put your hands on your knees. Now straighten your back out, and then hinge at the hips and slowly come right on up. That's Uttanasana on a chair. Very good. Okay, now we're gonna stand up, and when we stand up, let's practice standing up out of a chair. So sit on the front edge of your chair, hands directly in front of you on your knees, or not on your knees, sorry. Your knees directly in front of your hips. Again, ankles below, hands on the front edge of the chair. When we sit up, we're gonna, again, hinge forward at the hips, nice straight back, hinge forward until the center of gravity comes over your ankles. Push off the chair, or you can have your hands on your knees, push off your knees. Push off, come forward, your back now is horizontal, and then straighten up, hinge at the hips, and we straighten up. That's how you get out of the chair without putting all the weight on your lumbar area. And now we can get rid of that chair, move that chair out of the way. We don't need it for a little bit. And come to standing on your mat. We'll come to Tadasana, mountain pose. I want to do a little bit of balance movement now. Not balance movement, balance, static balance. And for this, I think I'm going to come off this mat. In fact, I'm just going to move my mat out of the way. That's a really thick mat I have, and it is challenging to do good balance on a thick mat. So we're going to do a figure 4 balance. And for this, I'm going to start with my left leg. I'm going to think ground through that left foot, root out of that left foot deep into the earth, engage my quad, engage my glutes this time. So my glute on my left side is engaged, which means the piriformus tightens up. All the glutes tightens up, so we're actually working that muscle. We stretch it, we tighten it, stretch it, tighten it, which is really good for your muscles. Bring your right leg, excuse me, up and over your left knee. Figure 4. And you can use it. You can use a chair actually. If you got your chair handy. You can use your chair for balance or not. You can have your hands on your hips. Hands are heart center. And then what I'm doing, I'll turn sideways. You can see what I'm doing. So figure 4. Bring this knee back and down with just the strength of your glute. Bring it back and down. Dorsiflex this upper foot. Back stays nice and straight. Find the drishti, a focal point, and then bend the standing knee. Hinge at the hips forward a little bit. So the more you come down, the more stretch you're going to get through this gluteal area, your right glutes. Come down a little bit more. Your back still nice and straight. And then we're going to come back up into standing position. Good. Now, move around a little bit, come into the other side. I'm going to do it in the same direction so you can see. Bring your left knee up on top of your right. Ground through that right foot. Engage your right quad. Engage your right glute. Right knee comes up. Bring your right knee now, or your left knee, toward the floor with its strength. Dorsiflex that left foot back toward your knee. Your spine's still nice and straight. And then just come forward a little bit. This is a figure 4. Let go of that chair. Get a little balance movement here. Balance pose. Balance, use it or lose it. And then we come up. Good. Shake that out. Good, that's your figure 4. Now you can get rid of the chair. And I'm going to bring the mat back into position so we can see what's going on here. Good. Okay, now we're going to do some work on the mat. So here's where I'm going to use my pillow, my bolster, and we're going to just come onto the mat and come down on your hands and knees to start with. And we're just going to push our hands out in front of us about a foot, and we're going to come back into puppy dog pose. Nice, easy puppy dog pose. Get a nice long back. We're now stretching our gluteal area in a vertical direction. Now come forward and come up into a downward dog. Downward facing dog. This time your left leg comes up into three-legged dog. And then bend your knee, three-legged dog, bend that knee, open that up into a fire hydrant pose or something like that. And come rotate back down, come back down to downward facing dog. Take a breath into downward facing dog. Now, right leg goes up into three-legged dog.
Holy shit.
Bend that knee, rotate it up to the right, stack your right hip on top of your left hip. Up. And then come back, come forward. Okay, yeah. Come back down onto your knees. And then just relax, take a breath there. Here's where I'm going to bring my bolster across my mat, horizontally across my mat. And then I'm going to bring my hands out in front of me, come up. You may want to have that bolster back a little bit more toward your knees. And come up, and then downward facing dog. Take your right leg up and bring your knee forward ahead of that bolster. Adjust that bolster a little bit. The bolster is really to support my right hip. With my right leg forward, the bolster is really to support my right hip. So if you don't have a bolster, you can use a pillow underneath your right hip or something like that. Or maybe with your flexibility, you don't need anything underneath that right hip. Left leg straight out behind you. This is called pigeon pose. It's a form of Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. That's pigeon in Sanskrit. Kind of. Ekapada means one leg forward. So now we're isolating the stretch into our right gluteal area, our right piriformus. This is kind of like doing a figure four, but we're more stretched out. So we got the psoas stretched out, kind of the secondary to that warrior one we did earlier. And we're stretching the piriformis on our right side. Now, if you like, if you have the capability, you can walk your hands out forward, come down, lean your torso down a little bit over that forward knee. The farther you come down with your torso, the more stretch you're going to get in that right gluteal area. So come down. This forward leg, encourage it to be as much perpendicular across your mat as you can. Mine's at about a 45-degree angle because that's just the tightness of all my muscles and my tendons and ligaments and whatnot. That's what it allows. And then you can come right on down. You come down maybe on your elbows, or if you have the capacity, you can come right on down to where your chest is on that forward thigh. Maybe you rest your forehead on the back of your hands. And then just breathe. Again, we want 5 breaths, more than 18 seconds. Let the muscles just relax in this position. Just chill out. Nothing to do, nothing to think about. Just relax. And just let it happen. Nice and easy. And then just let the muscles, we're just allowing the muscles in our gluteal area in our right hip just to relax, just to say, hey, this is cool. The piriformis is getting maximum stretch. Good. And then you can come up with your hands, walk your hands back up a little bit. Take a nice deep inhale, deep exhale. And then to come out of this, you can either just sit over on your right hip and come out, or you can come up on your back toe, come up on your hands, and swing back around into downward facing dog. Either way, we'll come into downward facing dog. You can walk the dog a little bit. Feels good to me to walk the dog at this point a little bit. Get a little movement in there. Adjust your bolster. Then we're going to bring that left leg up. And we're going to bring that left knee forward of the bolster across your mat. I'm working my right foot back to where my right foot is straight behind me. My right leg is straight behind. It's not out to the side. I'm on my back. On the back leg. I'm on my knee cap and the top of my back foot. So it's straight a line right down the length of my mat. Again, the bolster is underneath my left hip this time. Helps to support that. And just relax here. Nice inhale and exhale. Eka Pada Raja Kapotasana. King, that's called King Pigeon Pose. There's actually, the full version is where you bend your back foot and do some kind of crazy deal like this. You know, I'm a long way from that, but that's the idea. So now, walk your hands out in front of you, and you can come down into just a nice forward fold over your forward leg. Just let that relax. Good 5 breaths, nice relax. Feel the stretch. I mean, I'm feeling the stretch in my left glute right now. My left piriformis is staying, yeah, it's stretching me. And then bring your hands in front of you. We'll slowly bring our torso up. And this time, just bring your back foot right around in front of you and come up into a nice seated position. Good. Okay. Now, just sit on your mat. I'm going to sit on the bolster because it's more comfortable with my stretching my hips. It's more comfortable if I sit up a little bit higher, get my hips a little bit higher. But we're going to just bring our legs out in front of us. My hands are on the floor behind me, and just windshield wiper the legs a little bit to the left and right. Each time you go to the left and right, we're stretching that piriformis muscle just a little bit more. Okay, now, come up to a seated position. Stretch your left leg directly forward. Your right foot either comes to the inside of your left knee or up and over. Bring your right foot up and over to the outside of your left knee. So now we're going to stretch in our piriformis to the right. Now, breathe. and hinge at the hips and lean forward just a little bit. Pull your chest in toward that upper knee, upper thigh. Just helps to stretch the gluteal muscles, piriformus a little bit more. I can feel it right there. And then come back out of that. Now we're just going to take this upper leg, the upper leg, we're going to unwrap it, but we're going to come clear across. So now I'm twisting clear across. My whole body's twisting, but I'm really trying to focus on this area of my right glute. So I'm bringing it clear across. If you can stay upright and bring it across, that's great. You can do this on a chair. You can do this on a couch. You know, if you're sitting there watching TV or something, you can do this with your back up against the back, sitting there, sits bones down. Just bring one leg across. As you bring that one leg across, we're just crossing our legs, right? And we're just stretching that piriformis muscle. So bring that back up and over. Reestablish a square seated position. This time your right leg comes out in front of you. Left leg comes up. Maybe you can move that right leg just to the left a little bit. Center right down the middle of your body. Left foot up and over to the outside edge of your right knee. Now we got a little bit of stretch in our left glute. I'm clasping my hands just around my shin below my knee. Wherever it feels comfortable, maybe on your shin. And then you can just slowly hinge at the hips forward a little bit and get that stretch, that forward stretch of that piriformis. And your lower back. This is also a good series for your lower back muscles. And then come back up into vertical. Now we're going to just take that upper leg, the left leg, right across the body. So I got a little twist in my spine as I bring that upper leg across the body. We're going to do this again here in a second as we lay down, but we'll just do this in stages, kind of bus stop kind of thing. When we come back, and now we're going to come down to our mat. I'm going to get rid of my bolster. We're going to just come down and lay on your mat with your back on your mat in Ardha Shavasana. Your soles of your feet are on the mat. Take your right ankle up and across your left knee. So now we're in a figure four, a supine figure four on our back. Push the right knee away from you with the strength of your glutes, of your muscles, maybe a little bit of abdominal muscle. Dorsiflex that upper foot back toward your knee, and then bring the left leg in toward your torso. Maybe you can clasp your hands around the back of your knee, the back of your thigh on your left leg, just to help support that. You can do that. You can do this with a strap too, but if you do that, my right elbow can then encourage my right knee farther away from my body. So this time, instead of hinging at the hips forward with our torso is static. Now we're hinging at the hips, but we're bringing our legs in toward our torso. Supine figure four. I got both feet dorsiflex just to engage all those muscles and to keep a focus on it. Pay attention, be mindful, like we talked about at the start of the session. Be mindful of your breath and be mindful of all the muscles in your body. How are they feeling? Why are they feeling like they are? What are they doing? And then release that. Left foot goes to the floor. Right foot then goes to the floor. Windshield wiper those knees to the right, hold. Come up, windshield wiper the knees to the left, hold. Come back up in the center. Bring your left ankle on top of your right knee this time. With the strength of your glute, encourage that left knee to move away from your torso. Dorsiflex your feet, and then bring that right thigh, the right knee in toward your torso. Clasp your fingers behind the thigh. Use your left elbow to help encourage the left knee away from you. And then, to the extent possible on an exhale, take a deep inhale. On an exhale, pull that right leg in toward your torso a bit more. Big stretch in that left glute. Good. And then release that right foot to the floor, left foot to the floor. Lengthen your legs out, straight down your mat. Take a nice deep inhale. Deep exhale. And then bring both legs right together. Both legs right to midline, right straight down the mat. Both legs right together. Leave your right leg right where it is, nice and straight. Dorsiflex that toe, those toes back. Bring your left leg up in the air, up toward the ceiling, and then push it toward the ceiling. Push that left hip toward the ceiling, and then come over and twist to the right. My left shoulder is coming up off the mat, but the focus of this is to stretch the left gluteal area, your left butt. This is our final stretch of the piriformus and all the gluteal muscles. We're getting a good twist of the spine here. You can bend that left knee if you like. That helps. Or I like to keep it straight because I feel like if I keep it straight, then I get a little bit more stretch in that piriformis area, in the back of that left glute. Well, play around with that. Be mindful. Bend your knee, see what it feels like, and straighten your knee and see what that feels like. And then with the strength of your right hand, help that leg back up and over center. Square yourself up right down the length of your mat. Bring both legs back together, midline. Leave your left leg where it is this time. Right leg comes up toward the ceiling. Now push that right hip toward the ceiling as you come up and over for a twist to the left this time. And if you like, you can be looking over your right shoulder. Get a good, nice, long twist of that spine all the way to your lumbar, all the way up to your cervical. Through the thoracic, sacral, lumbar, thoracic, and cervical. 4 parts of your spine. If we include the sacrum. And then finally, release that. Strengthen your left hand. Help your leg back up and over center. Just bring your feet, soles of your feet down to your mat. Raise your hips up a little bit. Just swing your hips right and left a little bit. Then center right down the length of your mat. And we're going to do one more stretch, and that is coming up into happy baby. So this one, you bring both soles of the feet toward the ceiling, clasp your hands around the outside edges of your feet. My arms are traveling on the inside of my knees. My hands are on the outside of my feet. Happy baby. One more stretch of the piriformis here, of the lower back muscles. You can kind of wiggle around a little bit, just roll, get a nice massage to your lower back. And then bring your feet down to the mats. Lengthen the feet out. Bring your feet apart this time to roughly the width of your mat. Arms kind of out to the side, maybe down a little bit from T position, down maybe toward your waist a little more. And come into Shavasana. If you like, you can have your bolster or pillows underneath your knees. They're really comfortable. And then just relax in Shavasana. Think of your piriformus muscle now. Nice, one on each side. Nice and stretched out, nice and relaxed. And plenty of room for that sciatic nerve to run underneath that piriformis muscle. Now, you're welcome to just stay in Shavasana for another 5 or 10 minutes is what I would recommend. 10 minutes generally is really great. But instead of taking up video time, I'll let you do that on your own. Enjoy your Shavasana. Happy sciatic nerve. Thanks for joining me for yoga again today. Peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, and peaceful heart. Namaste.